Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Doing a quick impromptu video right now. In the process of talking to a couple guys on Discord and through email, trying to get them set up with mining, and I thought it'd just be easier if I made a YouTube video for everybody, and that way they can keep going back and forth. So today we're going to be talking about specifically Bitmain's Antminer L3 and L3 Plus. Now, Dogecoin is pumping hard right now. I think we hit, a little over 8 cents later this evening, and I'm hoping that's going to go to 10 cents, to 50 cents, to $1, and to the moon. So the best way to support cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, is yes, to buy and hold, but to also mine them. So Litecoin and Bitcoin and Dogecoin and all these other coins, you can mine them instead of just buying them. Now, with Dogecoin pumping and the price of Dogecoin going up, it's very profitable right now using these older miners to mine Dogecoin and Litecoin. Now I say Dogecoin and Litecoin together because they are a merged mined coins. So when you mine Litecoin, you automatically are mining Dogecoin. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through the L3 Plus, updating the firmware, updating the power supply, or hooking up the power supply correctly, and making sure that you're pointed in the right direction, and we're going to try to optimize it the best we possibly can. Okay guys, so if you haven't done so in prior videos watching me, or if you haven't played around with miners too much, the first thing you're going to want to do is download an IP scanner. The one I use is Advanced IP Scanner. It's free to use, real simple. You literally push a button after you're done downloading it, and it scans every IP on your network. And that's how we're going to access those miners. So here's what it looks like. Okay, so after you download it, this is just a screenshot, obviously, and this is, it's going to be blank when you first pull it up. You hit scan, and it's going to scan all of your network devices or anything plugged into your network that has an IP address. Now, anything that is plugged into a network typically has an IP address, so you'll see a number of different names here and so on. Typically what I've run into with these miners is they'll say Antminer, they'll say Texas Instruments, they'll say nothing at all. And those are the ones you got to look out for. Those are the ones that you want to dive into to connect to. But before we run the scanner, we have to plug in the miner. So we are talking again about the L3 Plus. Now, real simple miner. Out of the box, it's 504 megahash a second with 800 watts of power. When we're done with it, it should be getting between 690 and 720 megahash at between 1200 and 1350 watts of power. Now, we are upping the processing power, so we're upping the power as well. So it's going to consume a little more electricity, so you'll have to factor that into your cost of mining. For me, my power rate is locked in at a low rate, so it doesn't really make a difference for me. For some of you guys out there, it might make a difference, and we'll talk about other options that are available to you with power constraints. So we're looking at the front of the miner here, and what you're going to see is your Ethernet port, a fault and normal light, and a reset button. Now pay attention to that reset button because we might have to come back to that later on. Alright, so down here next to the miner is the Bitmain power supply. Now before you plug it into the wall, make sure that nothing's connected to it. Don't plug it into an outlet. Don't do anything yet. You want to make sure that everything is connected properly and tightly to your Bitmain miner, and you want to connect your Ethernet cable. Okay, once that is all done, now you can go ahead and plug in your mining power supply to the wall. The miner itself will ramp up, loud fans, crazy loud noise, and then it will ramp back down. Once it's ramped back down, you should see that both Ethernet lights, one should be blinking and one should be solid. That means it's reporting. It's connecting to the network. It's tied into the internet. It's a live machine. So once it's a live machine, we can go back to our scanner. Go ahead and scan it. And you're going to type in each IP address that you believe may be a possible match for your miner into, let's say, a Google browser is fine. You could also use, let's see if I have an Internet Explorer here. Microsoft Edge, if you're using Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer, whatever it may be. I'm going to go ahead and type one in that I know of offhand in the background. All right, so what's going to pop up is a little window like this. Now, if these are a fresh rebooted machine, this is what you should see. If it's a used machine, you're going to have to probably reset it using that reset button in the front. Now, what you want to do is you want to push in that reset button gently, hold it for 30 seconds, the machine should beep and light up, hold it until it releases, and pull it back out. Now, once you've done that, again, you're going to probably need to rescan it, find the proper IP address. Once you pull up the proper IP address, the password should either be root, password and username, or admin, or root for username and no password, or root for the password and no username, or admin for the username and no password, or username blank and admin just for the password. Now, a couple combinations there, but usually those ones will get you in there. If it doesn't, we're going to have to probably do an even deeper reset, but we'll touch upon that later on. So let's assume that we have reset the machine, or this is a factory machine and it's right out of the box, and we are able to log into it directly. So we've got our miner up here and running. Okay, so root for this one, and the miner pops right up, no problems. All right, now I will have to go ahead and obviously reset all my passwords now that I'm sharing them with you guys. Typically, I have a network of machines, so they all use a different combination of the password, just so I know which miner is which. You know, an RE1, an RE2, an RE3, whatever it may be, miner 1, miner 2, miner 3, whatever, just so you can keep track of it a little easier. All right. So once we are in, we can go ahead and set up our pool. What I recommend using for now, you can always switch to another pool later on. Just for this video and for based on my preferences, I would go with prohashing.com. There is a link in the description down below. When you use my link, you will get a little bit of bonus hashing power or a little bonus payout on the back side. And ProHashing makes it real easy to set up your miners. You select the tool configuration, work configuration, and you can just pick your algorithm. You don't really have to worry about manufacturer. If you want to use the manufacturer, what it's going to tell you, so we'll say Bitmain, and we're using the A3 Plus, but our power is actually 720 at 1350. So it's going to give you your daily payout. So one machine right now is doing about $4.14. At the high of the peak today with Dogecoin, it was doing about $7 a day. Excuse me. So once that's all said and done, we got it plugged in. Your connection URL is right here. It's the Stratum plus TCP ProHashing, and your port is 3333. So we're going to copy and paste that into our miner configuration right here where it says URL pool 1, and then all you're going to do is type in your username for ProHashing. Username equals worker. Okay, so remember that, worker equals username. So go ahead and plug it in and hit save and apply. What's going to happen is the miner is going to ramp up. You'll hear the fan kick in, and then it will settle back down. Once the machine has settled back down, you can go ahead and switch over to your miner status page, and you will see that the miner is posting hashing rate. Now, mine is going to refresh as I'm talking because I'm using an updated firmware. But we want to make sure that these miners work first before we update the firmware. So what you see here at the top, pool 0, here you see the pool connection that we entered, username Anari, and it is alive. Okay, now pay no attention to these other ones that are live here. These ones are default settings for pool fees that I have plugged in. Don't have to do that if you don't want to. That's just with the new firmware that I'm using. So we know that this miner is alive. We know that my average hashing rate is 713 mega hash, and my total output power is 1357 watts. And now as it refreshes, you can go over here and say your ASIC status, and I have little O's or zeros across the board, meaning that all my chips are live. Now I can dive a little bit deeper with this firmware and actually check each individual frequency of the chips and see which ones are performing optimally and so on. So it gives you a little bit of a scale here, which ones are getting, hard work, which ones are, working ideally, and so on. So they're all working at different frequencies, and that's the great thing about this firmware, is that it'll help you fine tune it. Okay, so let's go back to miner status. Everything is working properly. Alright, so now that we know that the miner is online, the miner is pointed properly at your mining pool. Now, just a little bit of a segue in there. I forgot to mention, I do apologize. Now, you can point it at prohashing.com, which is fine. What you're going to need to do with prohashing.com, though, I do apologize for missing this, is set your payouts. Now, I have my payout set to 100% Dogecoin, and I'm on the pro switching network with pro hashing. So it's going to take whatever hashing power I plug into pro hashing. It's going to automatically switch between the most profitable cryptocurrency on that specific algorithm. So it's only mining script currencies. It's automatically going to switch between, Verge, Litecoin, Digibit, all the other script currencies that are out there, and it's going to mine the most profitable one for me and pay me out according to my hashing power that I plugged in. Now, the coin that I have selected for my payout portion of my hashing power is Dogecoin. You can plug in, 3 script miners, 2 ASIC SHA-256 miners, and some X11 miners, some ASIC X11s, and set your payout to be one specific coin. That's why I like pro hashing so much, is I choose what I get paid out in. So I have my payout in right now as Dogecoin. So it's automatically going to pay my Dogecoin wallet directly every single time I hit the maximum threshold. So you're going to have to plug these wallet addresses in. If you don't have a Dogecoin wallet, you can go to dogecoin.com and get one, or you can download the Coinomi app on your phone. You can also get it if you have a MyConstant account. Again, MyConstant is linked down below. Right now they have some awesome promotion going on with MyConstant. And I like MyConstant, or I like Crypto.com. Coinomi is a good one. But I like my constants other ones because they pay interest on your cryptocurrencies that you hold with them. So that's why I typically hold it with those wallets. And there are a number of other wallets out there that will do that for you. But you got to make sure that you plug in your cryptocurrency wallet, or you're not going to get paid. So plug in your wallet, hit save, and so on. This little orange triangle here is your payout threshold. Now I have my defaults are set to the free threshold. Prohashing.com does have higher than normal pool fees for mining, so to kind of compensate for that, I use their free threshold payouts. I don't know if it's really making a huge difference or not. It's just that's what I feel comfortable doing. So every time it hits 100 Dogecoin, it's going to pay me out automatically, or anything over 1 Dogecoin. Between 100 and 600 618 Dogecoin will be paid out to me free. So that's why you hit save and continue, and then you can set your percentage of payout. So I have 100% being paid out to my Doge address. So you can go over here to my dashboard and see that that miner is running, and my payout is, I have 74 Doge so far that need to be paid out today, and the miner's running, no issues, we're going strong. All right. That goes hand in hand with this one. Now you'll see a little bit of a discrepancy in the numbers between your average here and your average on pro hashing. Don't worry about it. Your power's there. You're getting paid out according to what you're putting in. The only thing is, when you're looking at pro hashing, it's giving you an average. If you expand the little box here, you can see it's giving you an average of 1 day and so on. So I might have had a ramp up at some point during the day, and I got a little bit more hashing power than I typically do, and then that obviously is going to affect your average. So once that's all said and done, so we have a little bit of a recap here. I'm trying to make this video as fast as I can and cover as much information as I possibly can. So if I've missed anything, or if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, reach out to me on Discord. I have a Discord server with a crypto help chat. Reach out to me here in the comments. Reach out to me on Instagram. Reach out to me on Twitter. Reach out to me in email. I will do my best to help you as much as I possibly can. Okay, so let's recap real quick. So we have plugged in our miner properly. We reset the miner if we needed the reset. We scanned for the IP address. We inputted the IP address into a web browser and successfully logged into the miner using root or admin or some kind of variation. And we know that the miner is live, hooked up to prohashing.com. Now, you can leave it at that and call it a day. Great, fabulous. See you later. I'm out the door. You're getting, 505 mega hash at 800 watts. We're going to take it one step further. We're going to go to, open up a new tab here, ASIC, so ASICFW.io, and we're going to click on the Antminer L3 Plus and L3 Plus Plus. Now, these companies so far, now I've tried Blizz, I've tried HiveOS. This specific site has brought back miners from the dead. Now, I don't know how they're doing it. I've had miners with bad chips, and I'm getting, half-dead boards. This mining firmware has brought them back to life. So we're going to go ahead and click here, the link that says download the Antminer L3 Plus firmware. And we're going to go ahead and save that, to a full, save it on your desktop, or just know where you're saving it to, because we're going to need to find that here in a second. So once that's fully downloaded and we're good to go, we're going to pull up our miner again. We're going to go into miner configuration. Now yours is going to look a little differently because mine's already been updated. So we have your advanced settings, obviously, auto tune, which is new, and so on, chip. All right, so back in general settings, make sure everything is correct. All right, go over to systems, make sure everything is correct. You can see my current firmware, okay, so which one I'm running. And we're going to go under systems, we're going to select upgrade. All right, now what I recommend doing first is backing up the current firmware that you are using. So to do that, you're just going to hit generate archive and back it up, and save it to a place where you're not going to lose it or delete it by accident. Once that is done, you're going to go down to the very bottom where it says flash new firmware image. Now you're going to hit choose file, and you're going to select that image from the location wherever you saved it. Once it's selected, let me see if I can find it here, downloads, okay, nope. Once it's pulled up, you're going to hit flash image. Now, I'm not going to flash it because these ones are already done. Go ahead and flash it. It'll take a couple seconds. You'll hear your miner ramp up. It'll ramp down a few times. Once it's stabled out, you should be able to log in using the root password or the admin password and see that your miner is properly hashing. And you'll see you may have to enter or re-enter your pro hashing information, your URL and username. I did not have to do that when I updated my firmware. You may have to. I'm not 100% sure. So go ahead and do that. So it automatically refreshes for you, so it stays up to date. You don't have to keep hitting the refresh button on this new firmware. It automatically does it, and it should be good to go. Once you see that everything is alive, everything is running properly, let's go over to miner configuration and go to auto tune configuration. Now, I don't recommend jumping straight to 720 mega hash like I did. I slowly built up to that, meaning that I knew I had consistent power. I knew I had a decent ventilation for the machine, and that I'm constantly monitoring the machine as well. So you see here the base one, 504 to 660. I recommend doing the 580 to 850 mega hash. Start with that one first. Okay, so go ahead and select the 580, and you're going to hit save and run. When you hit save and run, it's automatically going to take you over to this auto tuning log. Now it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay, be patient with it. You'll hear it ramp up, it'll ramp back down a couple times throughout this process. And what it's doing is it's going board by board, chip by chip, finding which frequency is best for that specific board and that specific chip. And it's going to optimize your performance for the miners. Now, you'll see here I have chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. Chain 1 is running at 556 is the frequency, and the other one is 562. Then we have 531 and 556 again. So my 4 boards are running at different frequencies, and that's optimizing my hashing power, and that's what we want. We want to get as much hashing power out of these machines and use as little power as possible. Now again, I said this is where power consumption comes into effect when you're mining. So you may be at 10 kilowatt an hour price, or you may be at 12 kilowatt power, or you may have free power. So if you have free power or you have a discount like I do, crank it up. Why the heck not? You want to use as much hashing power as you want, and it doesn't matter the power, so just go for it. If you have power constraints, be conservative with how you auto-tune your miner. Now this also works for the L3 Plus, granted, L3 Plus Plus. Start slow and ramp up. Now I do have another miner that is only running at the 680, and it's running 680, 691 mega hash at 1,000 watts. If I jump up to the 720 mark, it doesn't work out. I'm using more power, but I'm still getting the same hashing rate, so it's not effective for me at that range. So each miner is going to be different. Take your time. It really makes a difference. You're really going to get the most out of these miners as you possibly can, and that is key, especially if you're using older used miners. Be gentle with them. You don't know what they went through prior to being in your hands. Clean them up, so on, and get them going. So we have plugged it in, scanned it, found it, upgraded the firmware, and we're running, and we're getting 720 mega hash per second. We're producing between 150 and 200 DOGE a day, and that's going straight to our wallet, which we are creating a 4% APY interest on it. If that doesn't sum it up as quickly and as fast as I possibly can in a 25-minute video, 20-minute video, I don't know what else does. Please, 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 please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, show the channel some love, reach out to me on Discord. I'm here to help. I want to get a community going. I want to build a community where we can all come together, help each other out, get the conversation started. And, if this is the kind of video you guys like, let me know by hitting that like button. Give it some love. And again, don't be afraid to reach out to me. And until my next video, this is me signing off. I'll see you guys later.